You guys on there yet? Sorry, guys, this thing's flipping out tonight. I have no idea why. It starts and stops and starts and stops. All right. And that's the app. It's not the connection or anything. It's just the app's restarting. All right. So back to what I was saying. The questions around the Catfish conference. What was it like? Is it worth it? Would I do it again? Um, and I did have my expectations about getting there. I hadn't, only seen pictures of it. Hey, John. And so here's what we went in there. We had maybe hey James, he's there. Flamez, hey, how you doing, Josh? So we went there the whole time driving out there. We drove from Kansas City, and drove in that night, and we had our expectations. And we walked in after it opened Saturday, and there was still a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people still trying to get in, and so some people said we missed the rush. So what was it like? It was a lot of people, a lot of like-minded people, a lot of vendors, a lot of people that a lot of us interact with online every single day, ask questions to. We use their products, fish tournaments with them, fish tournaments against them, things like that. So that's what's, I think, great about it. Is it worth it? I think it's worth everyone going and doing, and there's several reasons why. And I've kind of had different discussions with different people. But here's the bottom line, and I've thought about it a lot since then. That's why I haven't posted anything until, at least now discussing it. This conference takes a lot of work to put together. If you've noticed, Steve Douglas has already started preparing for the next one. He's soliciting vendors, questions, things like that. Everyone knows it has to grow. So there's got to be a commitment from us anglers to participate in things like that. If we want to see this grow, then we always compare it to the bass tournaments or walleye tournaments. They're pretty established, been around for a long time. And for me, I think catfishing, obviously been around for a long time, but as an industry, a growing industry, we're on the bubble of it really being big or fading away, I think. I think it's growing. It's going to grow as long as everyone starts participating, continues to participate, and the conference plays a big role in that. So that's my thoughts. It's great to see the vendors, talk to them, get their view of how to apply that product, how they apply it, what logic they use to develop that project. I think that's very important to get it from that perspective, and then get to know these guys. So I'll use one as an example, and not just one, but James Arwood. Hey Chris, James is out there everywhere. He is engaging tournaments, engaging uh, anglers. He's talking to them. He's taking personal phone calls for them. And he's just one example. And Steve Douglas, another one. He posts his phone out there, his phone number for people to call him directly to ask about the products. What other industry can that happen? You're not going to get that in the auto industry. You're not going to get that in any other really. The NFL is not going to, and these other sporting events, they're not going to post their numbers out there for people to call. And James is a very personable guy. He sat there, he was swarmed the whole time, talking, him and his wife, just doing great. Really easygoing, easy to talk to people who fish, share stories, share techniques, go over their products, try to get to know their customer. That says a lot. Um, and that's something we can get behind wholeheartedly. I mean, anyone like that, and he's just one, Hooker's Terminal Tackle is just one company like that. Um, John Adams, same way. You sit there and talk to you. Man, that guy's going all over the place on his end of the room. And Steve Douglas, that guy was swarmed. Uh, he was wore out. He's been building up this conference. His family was sick. He was sick. Getting everything stocked, and then have a majority of the people there um, are there to see guys like him. Oh yes, and Lisa's free hugs for James. Thanks, James. This is how personable they are. Their company, they're supporting us all. Lisa's out there holding their sign, giving out free hugs. Who does that in the industry, right? Any other industry. They're just regular people having a good time, getting to see their customers and their friends. Yeah, we're their customers, but a lot of times you make friendships out of it. And I don't know any other industry that really does this. But like I said about Steve, he's wore out and he's there. He's in high demand. The limited interactions I had with Steve there was very quick. The guy's tired. I don't want to bug him. Very polite guy, very matter of fact, business minded. I like talking to him about it. And he did a really good job and he wore himself out. So what was it like? It's like walking around and meeting a bunch of your friends they hadn't seen in a long time, getting caught up. Now that I've had time to really sit back and think about it and talk about it, yes, I'm going to go back. Plug Alex Nagy with Twisted Cat Outdoors. He was working his vendors' booths. I don't know why it never came. Lisa said it was one of her best. I agree. It's like a family reunion. But what I was saying about Alex was he was out working the booths. He was giving his vendors, his supporters, sponsors a hand. Great idea. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Why did I not approach it that way? And I think it's important. And next year, I'm going to take a page out of Alex's book and hit up the vendors and see what I can do to help them. So to answer that question, yes, I'd go back. Is it worth it? We all have an obligation to get out there and support these guys. They're doing a lot for us. It's very obvious, I think, to a lot of people. Maybe not so obvious to other people because they don't wear it on their sleeve how much they're doing for us. So I'd say get out there and support them. And a lot of these vendors, and what was pointed out to me, a lot of these guys, they're floating their own bill to come out there. Lyle Stokes and Doc and everybody, they were trying their best to get everyone on camera, everyone online, stream the show the entire time. They were doing that. That's their time. That's their expense. They're traveling pretty far, too, to get this stuff done. So keep that in mind. I think it's awesome. So the Catfish Conference, I would support it. I would love to see that. These guys be wore out. But I'd like to see 1 a quarter or maybe 2 a year in different regions of the United States because it would be a huge expense for a lot of people to fly in there and to go to that conference. And not everyone has the means to do that. So I would like to see it grow. I would like to see that grow. I'll have a whole different discussion on that another time. All right, the sponsors. So the other topic, and we're going to get to the tournament stuff here, but sponsors. So sponsors, they cannot give away the store, and you see it. They do give things away. They get hit by everybody from all angles every single day. And they're asked for stuff. So, yeah, we ask for things too. Our sponsors are busy. They try to get us their product as soon as they can. We had our first tournament very early in the year while they're restocking their inventory. And on top of that, prepping for the Catfish Conference. So we kind of hit them hard, early. And we didn't ask for products right up front because we knew that tournament was going to be really early. But we're one of dozens of tournaments series all over the country asking these guys for stuff, not to mention anglers looking to be pro staff, looking for product, looking to say, hey, can you just send me some hooks? Can you just send me one rod? I'll test it for you. We got to hey, welcome. You like that hat, Alan? So we got to keep that in mind. We have to understand these sponsors. It's their business. They're trying to grow it, and they're trying to grow it to be a very successful business. We can't nickel and dime them to death. And so we just kind of put in perspective. So this year, when it comes to sponsors, yes, we're looking for sponsors. I've learned a lot about product sponsors, and I'm going to be very selective. I can tell you that right now. I'm going to be very selective of product sponsors that we put our name with, our brand against, for our tournament. And I'm telling you right now, we got some very loyal sponsors and loyal to the anglers, loyal to tournaments and growing the sport. And so they're good guys and they're approachable, and I'm pretty satisfied there. Are we looking for more? Yes, we're looking for more. Cash sponsors is what our is a big priority of ours. And I'll say this, and I didn't talk to him beforehand, but Justin Thornton from Justin Thornton Painting, big sponsor of ours for the Border Wars. He's committed $2,000. That's $2,000 out of his pocket, his company's pocket, for the Border Wars because he believes it. So we have a huge obligation to make sure we're successful in that. And that shows what kind of, caliber person we're dealing with and company we're dealing with. He believes this sport's going to grow. He's doing everything he can. I guarantee he'd be running tournaments if he had another hour in a day. The guy's busy, and he's throwing money at this tournament, and we're very appreciative of it. We will never forget that. And yep, and Dwayne's right. Justin's kind of a cool dude. So we appreciate that. So he's thrown $2,000 added money to the Border Wars. Him and Joel from Savannah Marine, they put in another $500 together, so or $250 a piece. So now we're at $2,500. $2,250 of that's from Justin Thornton Painting. All right. So we are actively looking of getting more money added. Oh, there you go, James. So here, this is what I mean. Unsolicited, James is jumping in. Hey, Rich. Siv, he knows that. So James Arwood, let me throw in another perk, $50 gift certificate to each event, winner using Hooker's terminal tackle gear. So we're going to frame that. We'll add a little check block on our sign-in sheets of you need to let us know up front, and we'll do what we can to. Hey, Matt. Hey, there you go, bud. We appreciate that, James. That's awesome. So, again, you got Justin Thornton Painting being extremely generous, Savannah Marine, Joel up there being generous, James being generous. We're in a good community, guys. We got to take care of them just like they take care of us. So Catfish Conference, we got to be there. We also got to take care of them by making sure we're selecting corresponding sponsors with them. We had an issue last year. You guys seen it. And we politely talked to the guy and said, we're just not going to have you as a sponsor anymore. And sometimes that happens. Just like they have to have the talk with some of their pro staff throughout the year. They got to just tell guys, look, you're not living up to our expectations, and we're going to have to drop you. A lot of questions around pro staff, and I'm not an expert on pro staffs by any means. I'm not a pro staff, never been a pro staff, and I don't think I'm a good enough fisherman to ever approach that topic. But my opinion is on a pro staff, if you want to be a pro staff, and please other people chime in on the messaging, you're representing a company. And so your reputation means a lot. And that company is going to look at it from a business decision. They're going to want to know more about you. They want to know your commitment is to their product and how you would represent that product. And, really, if you can answer a question about that product, like what products they have probably. So, again, it goes back to, okay. So you got to make sure that we're not nickel and diming the sponsors. And if you're going in as a pro staff, you're not just going in to get free gear. I don't believe that. Maybe some people are, maybe some people do that. Maybe some people are less obvious about it. Maybe people have no intentions of that, whatever the motive, I don't know. But I'm just saying, I know people do contact me. They are looking for that. I do hear from other people that that's all they're probably looking for. Commit to them. All my advice would be is check out that product. Make sure you believe in it. Make sure your digital identity, your social media identity is reputable. And then talk to them about it. It's going to be a long-term investment, right? They don't want to be rotating their pro staffs out every single week or 2 weeks. So use their products, get some videos, promote them. You are a promoter of them, just like we are from a tournament standpoint. We need to help promote our sponsors. We need to make that investment for them because they're making an investment in us. So sponsors are very important. We are looking for cash sponsors, pro staffs. Do your homework. Let them get to know you. It's an investment on your part. It's an investment on their part. And we really need to take care of the sport correctly. The industry needs correct pro staff, in my opinion. And again, that is just my opinion. I already talked about the free stuff, and we see it every week with Catfish Weekly. These guys put on a heck of a show. It's fun. It's they're getting the word out on sponsors, and what you guys don't see is all their interaction behind the scenes. They're working with sponsors. They're doing product development. They're developing tournament series like mine, giving me advice from lessons they've learned, getting the word out nationwide of tournaments in Texas, Oklahoma, special events, good causes. We got to support it. To me, it's a huge investment that they're doing, and I can't always see the show, but I love how they have it on YouTube, and we can share it and review it later. So they give a lot of free stuff away, and I hope that's not why everyone just tunes in. We got to support it, and like earlier tonight they said, and I already had it in my notes to bring up. We need to do a better job as an industry, as anglers, for the industry. And when we get some free products, we go and we plug it for those people. We go and thank them on their pages and share their pages and look at it. That's just my opinion. Everyone else, I'm sure has theirs, but we got to take care of the people trying to take care of us. And as much as it's growing, I really think we need to watch out for those sponsors. Let's see here. Next topic. Anyone got any questions on the stuff? All right. Looks like you guys are having a conversation. All right. So Catfish Conference sponsors, we covered that. I think, like I said, everyone needs to do their part, plug them, let's support them. Hope to see more people there next year. All right. Cabela's, one of our sponsors, gave us that trolling motor, said we could do anything we want to, and it's a Tarova trolling motor with iPilot. I said, anything you want to do with this trolling motor, you can do. You want to raffle it off, you want to use that money for operating costs of your tournament, go for it. So we thought about it, my wife and I, and we said, okay, let's do a raffle. That makes sense. Let's do a raffle. But instead of using that money for the operational cost of the tournament, for every ticket we sell goes into the pot for the Tournament of Champions. So let's say we sell 100 tickets of just for easy math, 100 tickets at $5 a piece. We have $500. So we have $500 added money to the pot for Tournament of Champions. Tournament of Champions is our last tournament of the year, and that's for everyone who's won money in any of our tournaments. If you won any money and you had to go see Uzi and sign your paperwork, you're invited to that last tournament of the year, just like last year. And so that's we talked about it last tournament, but this upcoming one is what we considered our regional kickoff. This is the big, we want to kick off our year with this one. And so that's what we're doing. If we sell 1,000 tickets and we got 1,500 printed off at $5 a piece, every dime's going in to that pot. We're not keeping any of it. We were going to shave a little bit off for Big Turtle, but it sounds funny. It would be funny to watch a guy weigh in a turtle. But, once we all started talking about it, we're like, hey, wait a minute. Who wants to put their fingers down in the muddy water and look for a turtle for weigh-in? That'd make some great footage, but we decided to skip that. So we're going to go ahead and put that money into the main pot for added money to that last tournament of the year. And we'll still do our percentage breakouts for big fish and everything else. So that's what we're looking at. All right, keep that in mind. We'll keep everyone abreast of that situation. Keep you posted on how we're doing that and what the money count is. We'll try to do that from time to time too, so you guys kind of know. We'll keep updating the event page. So raffle tickets, $5 each for that for $5 per ticket for that trolling motor. 5 tickets for $20. And we'll be selling them at the tournament. If someone can't make it to the tournament and they're still interested in participating, go ahead and contact us. We could do a PayPal, and then we'll mail your tickets to you. And then that money just goes in. That's just how it goes. So we'll do that. We'll just open it up. The more money we can generate from this, the better. It's going to be for the anglers, and let's do it. All right, the other thing we have is T-shirts. Everyone likes our T-shirts. We've mailed a bunch of them out already. Yeah. And we got a bunch more to sell. I think we got we ordered 150. We've got another order developing already for hoodies and hats. So we're going to keep plugging them. As long as they're selling, we're going to keep plugging those things. So again, the shirt's $25. And we'll have them at our tournaments. But if you want a black or a gray, a light gray one, it's about $5 to ship. Actually, it's about $5.92 or something like that to ship them. So we threw on another $5 for shipping, so it's $30 if we got to mail them to you. If you order a bunch of them, you know, it's still going to only be $5 more for you guys. So we'll go from there. So if you want T-shirts, we'll have them at the tournament, and hit us up, and you can order them online from us. All right. We are still a pretty new series, so we're always looking for input. So why we do the certain things we do is because other people have learned their lesson on it, and we like what they're doing. So like Elite Catfishing Series up north there, Bill Phillips, he's 100% payout on his tournaments. We can't do that with our model. We could probably, but we probably wouldn't grow the way we want, and we want to grow, and we want to do things for the anglers. But his principles of how he runs his tournament, we took note of. And I went and fished his tournaments, and I asked other people to go with me when we did, and that's where we want to support him. It was great water, very laid back, good time, people chatting. We had a good time up there. So, you know, we'll be fishing his. So we did every tournament I go to, his, you know, too. I took notes of things I can take away from that and improve on. So one of the things I do keep in mind at his is he is 100% payout. He is conscious of every dollar that comes into there, and we try to be the same way. So that's a principle. Be aware of that money. It is money we're asking for people to contribute to this. So we try to be cognizant. We're not at 100% payout by any means, but his principles are something we try to carry on too. We try to keep that in mind. PBSS up there, Kyle. Great guy, great time. It's fun. There's good waters too. And it's a no-nonsense tournament. You know, he'll tell you he's not going to put up with crap. And obviously you can tell we don't either. And so it's a good positive atmosphere, and we're going to be fishing his too. And so, you know, these ones we're bringing up, we want everyone else to get out there and support them. Catfish Chasers, that's the only one I didn't fish last year. We're going to fish that this year. But Stu Baker, he does a lot for the community, catfish community. We're going to fish his. There's a lot I could learn from him and how he runs his and how he frames his tournaments. And we're looking forward to it. He does a lot, and I don't know if everyone knows everything he does, but we had some questions on regulations and stuff, and he was all over it. You know, he was answering my questions, saying he would contact people, and I won't bring up what it was, but it was nothing bad. But we just, there was some ambiguity there, and we want to address it, and he was on there. So he's there for other tournament series. And all these guys I'm mentioning are people we share our tournament schedule with and try not to step on each other. But in Catfish Chasers, they focus on a lot of lakes. They don't just do lakes, but they focus a lot on their lakes. And I got to get better at that, just like the river. So I'm going to be fishing his, taking notes. Hopefully at some point I can get some time aside with them and learn more and improve our tournament series. Twisted Cat Outdoors, Alex, great guy to talk to. I like talking with Alex. Probably don't talk to him enough. Great professional presentation. Also, and we did take, you guys probably noticed, as soon as we came back, we upgraded our PA system. We started playing the national anthem. The way he set his boats, launched his boats, is what we adopted. Call it plagiarizing, whatever you want to do. But everything he did was spot on. He puts a lot of thought into it. I think he had some great mentoring, Lyle and other people, and Steve and these other guys. And we're going to, you know, he is doing things right. We want to be that way when we grow up too. So we are a new series. We do fish these other areas, and we are taking notes. And what they're doing good, we're trying to implement. So if you guys fish any of theirs and you see something they're doing that we can improve on, let us know. All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes here. Our tournaments, all of our tournaments, All American Catfish tournaments, you can pre-register online. Go to our webpage, allamericancatfish.com, and in the way we did it, and the logic, some people ask us, why is it that there's no discount for pre-registering. Because we have a pay chart for all our events. If we have 50 boats there, which we hope to get, every single time when 50 boats are registered or 30 boats are registered or whatever the number is, what that payout's going to be based on our pay chart. And some people have the money to pay their entry fee right up front. Some people would like to do that, but they don't even have a partner yet. So they don't have that as an option. They may have their half of it. So we use the logic of, hey, let anyone pre-register, put half the entry fee they can pay online and hold their spot for launch order. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they have all the money right then or not. If they have half of it and they register online, they get their spot plugged in there and we hold on to it, and then they can pay the rest at the tournament. So you can pre-register online. You can pre-register the full amount or half the amount. Whatever you pre-register with, that holds your spot for the launch order for the tournament. It's the same cost whether you pre-register or if you show up that day, which a lot of people don't have the decision made that they're going to fish the tournament until like the week before. And so we make that available for them. Same cost. So that's the logic behind that. You can register day of. We try to get there pretty early for that to take place. As soon as we get there, we try to get Uzi's table set up and so she can start receiving everybody's registration. You can register after launch anytime. You can register and we'll give you a briefing, check your arrival, and send you on your way. So there's always a late launch option. And James Graham, anyone needs a partner, get a hold of him. He's looking for a partner. And that's the other thing we do, and I didn't put on my notes. We like the fact that people are comfortable asking to jump on boats and have co-anglers looking for partners, things like that. And we want to keep that going. Live well checks at all registrations. You can register late. We talked about that. Everyone is given a paint stick. And a lot of this that we're going through right now is for newer anglers because they do question us a lot of how the flow is. So you pre-register. You can do that. Register the day of. We're going to check your live well while you're registering. You're going to get a paint stick. That paint stick is how we check you in at the end of the day and account for all our boats. And we talk about what bucket it needs to go to. We'll always try to have a pull-up style weigh-in. Again, here's an example. We were told about some buckets that were used at one of the tournaments here the other weekend, so we're going to order some. So we can get the fish back into the water as quick as possible because there was a log jam the other tournament with the boats, and we want to avoid that. Yeah, and that's it. Doug Evans, that's a good point. Some people don't know if they can make the tournament. Schedules change. They don't know if they can fish that tournament until the day before sometimes. So pre-registration is not always an option for somebody. So we want it to be consistently the same price for everyone, and everyone has an option to fish that tournament, whether they get there early or get there late. All right, so we want to have that pull-up weigh-in. We're going to have other options for you to tote your fish back in carts so you don't have to carry them. Dwayne, yeah, okay. That's what I keep hearing, so we're going to get some. We've looked them up, and we're going to get some more. We had the 2-wheel carts. Seemed like a good idea, but a couple guys, one's named Dwayne, another one's Justin, had some huge fish last time, and those fish didn't even fit in those carts. So we're going to take care of that for the next one. So good job, guys. We're always going to try to do a Facebook Live at our weigh-ins, but I'm telling you, that's always not an option, and we get a lot of negative feedback when we don't. A lot of people message me, and we're going to do what we can. If we can't, we can't. We're going to get some more additional equipment for it to help out with that. But if we don't have a signal or something's bad that day, it's going to limit us. So keep that in mind. We'll do what we can. Ideally, we'll have a Facebook Live. That's our intent, but we may not always be able to. We are looking. We've been asked about trophies and plaques. I have sent a couple messages to people that make plaques. Sent them a copy of our logo, and said, hey, what can you do with our plaque? What kind of plaque can you make using our logo and things like that? So we haven't heard back yet. We're still working on it. Tournament of Champions, we're going to have that, and Border Wars. So the Border Wars, we're going to have, for the ones who win it, we're going to have trophies for them that they can take home and keep. And then we're going to have a state trophy. Now, get the word out on the Border Wars. The Border Wars is for open to every single state, just like every tournament normally is. But the added layer of that state gets to brag for a year. Anglers from that state won the Border Wars. So we want people from Nebraska and Dakotas, Illinois, obviously Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. We want people coming from all over and fishing that Border Wars and taking that state trophy home. That state trophy will have a base on it that we could put the state flag on. I've been looking a lot lately, trying to find the right one. We want something flashy, something bragging about. And again, we're going to have that. So keep that in mind. Yeah. We'll get that word out. Keep sharing that event. Challenge your buddies in North Dakota, South Dakota, Illinois, Ohio, all over, Iowa. Let's get those guys down here. Let's fish. The intent is we'll have it in different spots. We'll try to pick some new waters every year. So, because we always hear about how it's home waters. We don't want to fish it. Missouri, I think Missouri's on. Well, we're in St. Joseph, Missouri for the Border Wars this year. But we want to head out east and we want to head out north a little bit more too. So keep that in mind. The Border Wars is going to move. I don't know why, any reason why the Border Wars can't turn into one of those monster events. That's our intent for it. And we want to get it there. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some commitment by the people. So we want to get it there. And I think it can with the right people. And if it's handled the right way, talking about how we run it, it'll get there. That trophy staying in Canada. I like how you think. All right.
You don't shoot, you don't get criticized.
So again, Kansas. Let's keep that thing right here in Kansas. So one thing, I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you win the Border Wars, we try to take you out to dinner for a real nice dinner. If you win the Tournament of Champions, we're going to take that team out to dinner too. If a state, if someone out of state wins one of those, we will make sure you're going to get a nice dinner at a nice restaurant. You're probably going to have to dress up, so that's just the way it's going to go. So we have some good steaks this year, and so I don't mind it staying in Kansas or close by in Missouri, so I can go to dinner with these guys. My wife and I can go. Get that steakhouse ready. I'm with you. All right, let's Boomer Wilson. That's me. I'll be coming to Missouri this year. I'd probably. All right, Boomer's there. And Boomer put me on some good rods this over at the Catfish Conference. I'm going to order some Fathoms and put them on there. And Boomer, I'm going to get with you, not this weekend, but see what you're doing the weekend after. All right, my wife's leaving, going out of the country for a couple weeks Saturday, and my daughter's coming into town, so I'm going to be tied up this weekend, running around. All right, guys, I went over a lot of stuff. What questions do you have that I could hopefully answer? So, James, while we're waiting on those, really appreciate you throwing in that gift card. I'll get with you later, and we'll frame that out there, and we'll get it posted. Let's see. All right, awesome. Boomer's going to be free. Plugging that in on the freaking calendar right now. Let's see. What else you guys got? We do have some. We told everyone last tournament we didn't have the giveaways. We do have some giveaways now. My wife still has the list. We will get you guys stuff. No doubt about it. We're not going to hold on to it. We'll make sure the anglers get what the sponsors give us. Again, the ask is just like when Catfish Weekly gives something away, just like if we give stuff away at our tournaments, let's get out there and thank these guys for contributing. Let's do it. We owe it to them. They're taking the time. They got to package this stuff, and these aren't big, huge industry, massive complexes that have 200 people on staff. A lot of these guys are running businesses out of their house and trying to build, trying to get a brick and mortar building started. So let's take care of them. Let's help them get there. What we contribute today will pay dividends later, I think, for the industry. Questions? Anything on the next tournament? Next tournament, St. Joseph. It's on the 31st. We are looking to make sure we have food for you guys still. So is a 3 fish limit possible for river tournaments? All right, this year we're at 5 still. That's kind of my part. I didn't focus on that part. We are going to take a look at that. And I got a reminder for next year. I do believe, and a lot of people won't agree with me on this, but I do believe it's easier on the fish when there is 3. I've been reading a little bit more about it, been watching what other places do, the heat of the day. I think it's best we only have 3 in their live wells. It's safer for some of these guys who might be pushing a limit or something. I don't know. And we want everyone to have a live well. It's a requirement. But we don't want people putting, a bunch of fish in there and plowing their boat in. And so we got to look at a lot of different factors. And I know some people are annoyed that we have 5. Some people are very annoyed that we are looking at going to 3. But next year there's going to be a change. I can tell you that. There might be a hybrid of 5 on some in the earlier months and 3. We'll just have to take a look at it. But we're getting to 3. I can tell you that. Yeah, and to Lyle's point, most catfish sponsors are mom and pop businesses. They really are. And so I want to take care of them. What other questions you guys got? They're scrolling by and I'm not seeing them. I don't want to miss them. 1 second here. I'm not sure how to interpret what Justin Thornton posted. Something about Missouri and trophies. I don't know. Kansas. That thing's staying in Kansas. I could see through. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Alan. That's what we were kind of thinking of. And so we got to look at it a little bit more. There's you guys, I may have mentioned before. I don't know if I ever said their names. There's a group of guys we meet with at the beginning of the tournament series, and we sit down and we brainstorm, and that way we can be critical of our decisions in private a little bit and try to come up with a good product. So there's a lot of people that contribute to this tournament series to help it being successful. Not just the other tournaments and how they do things and we take notes. There's a lot of people working with us and supporting us. And if they're suggesting something, we're thinking about it. Lyle Stokes and I talked a lot last year. We talked this year. And he's got a lot of experience in this game. And so I didn't implement everything he suggested last year because I kind of a seek and understand type guy. And a lot of stuff he said came true. A lot of stuff Steve Douglas said about anglers, about sponsors and everything else came true. And if I was keeping a list, I would say they're batting 1,000 on that stuff. And so we learned our lesson, and sometimes those are the lessons that stick with you. So we're going to be changing things. Yeah, so good point, Dave. Dave's swearing about the 3 boats per. We are going to have some more events like that, or we want it to be. We want it to be family friendly. When people are traveling far away, I tell you right now, it is about boat counts too. That is the balance. When we do have 3, it drops our boat count down, and we know that. So we're going to have certain events for that. We will. So we'll apply that. Can we document what fish are being caught at these tournament size and amount? It would be good if we were to get more regulations and quantity. So yeah. So to Justin's point, we have a weigh-in slip, and I didn't talk about it earlier, but we have a weigh-in slip. For those who haven't fished our tournaments, you get a slip, a piece of paper, and we have your big fish and your total fish. Last year, we did turn in those weights to the biologist for some of our events. He wasn't really responding with us, so we quit doing it. We're going to reapproach it this year, but it's a good thing to do, I think. We may get a little bit more, I don't know what's the word. We may get what it's called storm staff. It's this piece of paper. It's almost like cardboard you could write in the rain. We may get something like that and give to the anglers. So holistically, we can document fish that they're seeing in their boats throughout the tournaments and things like that, keeping it completely anonymous and then turn it in. What we don't want is try to itemize each individual fish and have a backlog of people trying to weigh in. So it's that balance. We do want to catch the big fish. We would like to do something about the species. We'll just have to improve on that. So Justin, good point. We'll have to work on that probably next year more in detail. But we could probably do some adjustments this year. Yeah, so it would be cool if they tagged our fish, Mike. And we got to get on the water again. Yeah, we did talk to them about tagging. When we fill out our permits, the tagging question is raised, and I do write on there that we would be interested in doing that. Some of these guys expressed interest last year about measuring, and Talal's said they won't allow it. And that's what I was getting ready to say is we do put on there that we would do it, and they don't want anything to do with it. I missed it, but would kids be allowed in every tournament held as a third person? Yeah, good question, James. Very good question. All right. We have some families that want to fish together. We have some sponsors that kind of raised this to our attention last year, that the reason they don't fish as many tournaments is because they don't want to leave their kids out of it. They like having them in the boat. So we changed the rule this year. And if your boat capacity allows it, let's say you have this big giant friggin' boat and you got 4 little kids under the age of 16, they can be in the boat with you. All right, as long as it meets your regulations, everyone's got a life vest and everything else. But we're still at 6-pole limit. And the reason that is we want them, that's the next generation. We want that family to have a positive experience. And positive experiences when fishing is a very big deal for me. That's a big reason why I don't put up with crap at the tournaments and we just move people on. You know, we just don't put up with it. It should be a good time. You should share those memories with your kids and get them on there. So to answer your question, you can have the kids in the boat. Once they're at 16, they're an eligible angler, and that's a different story. If your child is over 16 and needs assistance, we have a category for that too. That's one of our exceptions. Get them in the boat with you. They're still a child that you're taking care of, no matter what their age are. If they're needing assistance, get them in the boat. Have a good time. If they're a retiree, get them in the boat. You know, so check out our rules. It's on allamericancatfish.com. All right, James. Good to see you. Hey, thanks a lot, James. I'll get with you. But to answer the question, we want those kids in there with you guys. We want you guys getting pictures holding those fish. That's great. All right, great, James. And let's get them on there. And let's make sure when you do bring those kids in there, they're at the weigh-in. And let's get the kids in the photos at the weigh-in, whether they're fishing with you or not. Even if the family shows up afterwards, let's get them with you, with the fish. Let's get those pictures. They're our next generation. Let's take care of them. All right. Hey, we're with you, Dwayne. We want to take care of the families. We want to take care of our friends. We want to take care of the families, and we want to have positive experiences. That's what makes it worth it. So let's keep doing that. Let's see. What else is there? What else you guys got as a question? Let's do this. March 31st, St. Joseph. We are going to be limited on parking up there. We won't have that massive lot for overflow parking, but we have all the state parking. And we're going to be working with the casino. Doesn't respond much up there, but we don't give up. We'll keep plugging them. I'm going to drive up there and talk to the guys in person. And so we should have plenty of parking. Everyone's convinced we should have plenty of parking. We'll be there. We're working on getting you guys food. We will always have something like that at our events. So let us know. Let us know. What else you guys got? Any other questions? All right.
Be a little bit of a flow.
Leading up to the March event, we will still do an overview. I will have some aerial footage of the parking, where we're going to be set up. I don't know if the trailer will be wrapped in time. If I can get the appointment and get the trailer dropped off and get it wrapped, it'll be wrapped. It'll be, looking a little bit different. If not, we're still going to, obviously be up there. One of the things we are trying to work on is get a digital display for our scales, so everyone's not hovering over the scale. They can see it from a distance. That is something else we're working on. We're working on new banners. So we'll be doing that. And we're going to be looking at some new.
Yeah.
Oh, Boomer! I like how Boomer thinks. So Boomer saying second place washes the first place boat after Border Wars. I like that. Um, so we're always going to we will have drinks for you guys. The night tournaments in the morning, we still have energy drinks for you guys. We're focusing on the day tournaments for keeping you hydrated. We want water. We want Gatorade. We want that stuff for you. Um, yeah. So we're doing a Milford tournament this year too. It's a lot of guys were asking us for it. That's not our specialty out there, but we're going to give it a shot, and hopefully we'll do good. And that lake's got some big fish in there, but Dave Studebaker said before, it gets a lot of pressure, and we keep that in mind. If he says something, I'm listening. It does get pressure. We're not going to wear it out. We're going to do our tournament there, and we're going to move on. There is a VFW tournament later on this year. The VFW is going to help staff, but it's for all first responders. And let's say second line responders, nurses, doctors, whatever. Anyone that's in there that we pick up, when we pick up the phone, we call 911 and they're involved, we want them at this tournament. We want them to come. So we pick the lake that's easy for them to get to and fish, anyone can catch fish in. That is Clinton Lake. We did request that main boat ramp by the marina is exclusive to our event. And we will follow up on them on that. We may not pull the biggest monsters out of there, but it's about bringing new boats in and recognizing everyone on the other side of that line and when we dial 911. So we want to get the law enforcement guys out there. I've talked to some law enforcement departments already, got buddies up there. The VFW's got a whole action plan. They've socialized it statewide. We are going to be looking for specific sponsors around that. And so hopefully our normal anglers will still show up and fish that tournament. It's going to be a good tournament. We're going to have it every year. All our proceeds from that tournament will go to the VFW post 11234. And so we're not making a dime on this. It's to help them. It's to recognize those other guys, the law enforcement guys. So keep that in mind. All right.
Oh my God.
Let's see.
Oh my God.
Oh, the date for the first responders one, I think it's the August 18th one. We were going to do St. Louis. I know some of you guys are going out there, and
they're wounded.
And that's fine. Go fish, go support other tournament trails too. Obviously, we're trying to grow ours, but there's a lot of guys putting on some great tournaments, and I want to fish along them too. So I don't blame you for wanting to head out and go places. But we do want to do something for the first responders. We do want to do something for veterans, VFW, and so that's what we're doing. We are going to go knocking on doors for sponsors for that event. So keep us in mind. And if you're a small business and we can help plug you on here, let us know. We're going to get you out there, get your name out and help you out. So again, any more questions? We want to thank Gerald Judy for being our sponsor for bait. He's doing a lot of things for us. They're adding money in for Border Wars, for every fish sold.
You're right.
They're doing that a lot, and we'll detail all those out. Savannah Marine, coming on there and shipping in for big fish on the Border Wars. It's a lot of people are like, hey, is there a conflict there? No, our sponsors support more than one tournament series, so let's get behind them. The more they can get their word out and get people going their way. I heard about Savannah Marine a few years ago when I had an issue with the lower unit. Highly recommended, guys. Anytime there's work to be done, those guys are recommended. So we want them putting things on our page. We want that out there. We want to help them grow. We want to get them business. We want GNR Bait to get business. Macy's Fish and Find, you guys have seen it. They've got a huge product inventory and catalog. And they're working with people that come to our events, and and so when you order something, find out, hey, is there anyone picking things up? They'll bring it to the event for you. So, you know, Michael Stover and Angie Stover, they are awesome people. They fish. They want to be at these tournaments too. They're just busy. Obviously, they're running businesses, but they have some great prices, really good prices on things. So check them out and give them a call.
No, I didn't
Uh, let's see what else you got. Anything else? I didn't get everybody. Hookers Terminal Tackle obviously is there. Monster Rod Holders obviously there. New Pro Products. They have that vent system for your live wells, and I will be getting some for mine. It's big, guys. We Warrior cat rods. You know, John Adams. You know, I use cat rods. I have, I think, almost all their last year's models. I have them. You know, and our Warrior cat rods. There's a link on our webpage when you go there. If you want to order something, click on that link, get there, and track it. Anything that's purchased by going to our site, clicking on their link, and then purchasing from a Warrior cat rod, they're going to give a percentage back to the tournaments. That percentage that's given back to us goes back to you guys. It'll go into one of the pots. So keep that in mind when you're looking for things. What else you guys got? Anything? If not, we're going to wrap stuff up. Send us your questions anyway. Share the video. And from time to time, we'll do this. Not every week, not every month. But check out the Sunday night show for Matt Catman Jones and his wife, Michelle. Get them, check them out. It's fun to watch. Check out Catfish Weekly. A lot of great information, a lot of great tips. We like it. We're watching it. And what's cool about these guys running their show is both of them, all of them, anyone that runs one of those Facebook Live shows. These are cat fishermen that can work any fish finder electronics, and I love watching people fumble with their phones and computers and their notes and everything. It's hilarious. Get out there and support them. You know, it's good to hear difference of opinions and different perspectives and a little ribbing on each other, and it's worth it. And let's support everybody. All right, guys, thanks for your time tonight. Kind of long-winded.